What is up, guys? Welcome to the Straight Edge Wrestling This Week in Wrestling podcast, December 6th. It's nearly the end of the year.
Woo!
We're getting there. We're getting out of the shithole that is 2020 bit by bit.
Well, doesn't sound like it's going to get much better for the beginning part of 21. So
No, it does not. But anyway, if you're new here, please do like and subscribe to us here on YouTube and head over and follow us on Twitter at SEW_podcast. It really does help a lot. There's a lot of news this week. I think we start off with Pat Patterson. Pat Patterson sadly passed away this week, age 79, or a month away from his 80th birthday. I think
he's lived a good life.
No, I think I don't think it could be understated just how big of an impact Pat Patterson has had.
Well, let's be honest. How long ago was it since they did that whole everyone on the ramp and did the 10 count?
Yeah.
Normally you just get the picture. So
yeah, it's been a long
and
time.
Let's be honest, without that man, wouldn't have had the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, you think people? I think Vince McMahon, he gave a little interview and he said something best. He said people often remember him as, the father of the Royal Rumble, the first Intercontinental Champion, those sorts of things, but they don't realize just how much of an impact he's had on pretty much every major wrestling story that's ever happened in the WWE. Because he wrote the finishes for pretty much every match. He was The Rock's guy, he was Cena's guy for all of their matches.
Is that why it's gone shit since he decided to take a step back and retire?
Yeah, it did. I mean, like I listened to 83 Weeks of Eric Bischoff, and he says quite candidly that the thing which WCW lacked, which WWE had, was Pat Patterson. And he said, I've heard him say this for years, in that whenever you watch anything WCW, they build up these big stories, and then they'd always screw over the ending. They would never get that ending right,
Yeah.
And he said, and the reason for it is that Vince had Pat. And Pat done all the finishes for all the matches, and so he had that experience. And WCW didn't have that person. Yeah. I think it's pretty incredible. Like the first Intercontinental Champion, won, quote unquote, won in a tournament in Rio de Janeiro, which it wasn't won. He was given it, and then they made up a fictitious tournament that happened, which is incredible. I love that. And I mean, the Stooges, him and Briscoe during the Attitude Era, is some of the most entertaining shit I've ever seen on television. It's incredible stuff. Incredible. And, he was the first openly gay professional wrestler, which is very incredible, really. The legacy the man leaves behind is incredible.
When it comes to the wrestling world, he's one of the ones that are untouchable. Probably more untouchable than The Undertaker.
Yeah. And, like, he's genuinely, as everyone's been saying all week, he's genuinely been Vince McMahon's best friend since the early 80s. Yeah. Not just like someone he works with, but genuinely like his best friend who has been at his right hand side this entire time. And it's really sad. But yeah, as you say, 79. It's not a bad age, not a bad life he's lived.
Especially he's through the wrestlers through that era and things that they've been doing. So
yeah, it's incredible. But yeah, also this week. I think before we even start talking about the shows, we may as well just talk about what the hell went down in AEW and all the news which has come out of it. Kenny Omega and Impact Wrestling. Obviously, they announced, Impact did announce this week finally that Kenny Omega will be appearing on Tuesday's Impact, which means I'm going to be watching another show and be watching Impact for the first time in many years.
Oh. I read on someone the other day. It's a 5-minute thing that he's done.
Yeah,
that they've already pre-recorded at the minute. So
yeah, because they already filmed this Tuesday show. I think they said about 3 weeks ago. So they literally just flew him and a few other guys in just to film one thing to add into the Tuesday show, whatever it is.
Yeah, at the moment it could work out being great, but this is that moment. Especially also being an owner, it's a bit like that. Do I really actually want my chance? Especially Kenny Omega, the first appearance he does with the belt is on Impact.
Yeah, but I really love it just because it's like what people were saying is they're doing the story here of like when Vince McMahon was scared about Brett leaving with the belt, to another company. they're basically going to start doing that story, you know, of Tony Khan losing his shit and them taking, or AEW losing their shit and him taking the belt.
TNA already did that.
Yeah, I know, but you know,
AJ did it with Dixie Carter losing that shit, and he went around and actually defended it on other fucking shows.
Yeah, I know. So
and
I think
that moment they don't want to really allow their wrestlers to wrestle on other fucking shows right now. And so
yeah. So, but I think that's the sort of direction, because this is the direction really they should have done the freaking CM Punk thing, you know, CM Punk and Cena, and let Punk go off and defend the title in indies and stuff. So I'm cautiously optimistic about it. I mean, I've not heard so much buzz around an episode of wrestling for quite some time as what came out of that Impact, that AEW needs an Impact. Especially getting Impact's name back out there again in the mainstream, which is just insane, you know. And it's just that company which will never ever die. It just will not go away.
it just depends who owns it. Depends how good it is.
Yeah. And I know Don Callis doesn't obviously own it, but he's doing a very, very good job with it by all accounts. I mean, I've not watched it. I can't claim to have watched it in a very long time, but I don't really see many people shitting on it anymore. You know, I see lots of good things about it.
I think the difference is as well, it does also now seem that the talent once again are enjoying themselves over there.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And like you've got like
They
the Good
have
Brothers.
been doing some. I have watched the odd episode, and they've been doing some. It's like that wrestling house thing they did on there. That got a bit fucking nuts.
I didn't see it.
But basically, it's like a quick thing where every once in a while they'll zoom in and out, come in and out of it, of a group of wrestlers that they've put together in this house. And the next thing you know, some people start having a dispute about saying, and there's some bloke ends up being in the ring saying, we'll do it, and they end up having a wrestling match.
Right.
And then it goes back to normal Impact show. And you're like, I don't fully understand what's going on right now. But I've watched like the first couple of weeks of that, and then unfortunately other stuff came along, and I haven't had the time at the moment to watch Impact.
See, that's
a shame, because I was always a great lover of it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'd like to be able to watch a bit more of Impact and Ring of Honor, because I want to follow more of the career of one of my favorite wrestlers of EC3.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. See, it's a shame. It's like there's just now so much wrestling out there, and WWE makes so much damn content, just them, that it is hard to keep track of it all. It's impossible to really follow everything. I mean, God, if you were to follow everything, what you'd get 3 hours of Raw, an hour of 2 hours of NXT, 2 hours of AEW, what 18 hours of Dark. It'd be a lot
more easy to follow if we didn't have full-time work.
Yeah. But you just genuinely like a full-time job if you were actually to watch all, especially like all the indies and stuff that go out every week. It's crazy. But I am interested to see what they do with Impact, just because it's cool to see them actually succeeding again and actually doing something cool. I like that. Obviously, another thing on AEW was that Sting made his debut and had one of the coolest looking entrances, I must say, that I've seen in a long time.
I gotta admit that his music's not as impactful as it has been in the last couple of things that he's done, though.
No, but I did like the intro. I thought the music went well, but no, I think you're right. It's not got that big drum. It's not dramatic.
It's not quite got the Sting.
Yeah,
impact.
it's not quite as dramatic.
The WCW and the WWE one did.
Yeah, see, I didn't like the WWE one. I loved his
WWE one. WWE one weren't great, but it's had some impact for it.
Yeah, I do wonder though. I do wonder if they'll like sort of tweak it here and there. But yeah, no, I thought the reveal of him was really good. Lights going off and the thing, and people really didn't expect it. There was genuinely no leak of this at all, which is something for a change.
But I'm also nervous what they plan on doing with him.
Yes, he has been signed to a multi-year full-time contract, and it's that word full-time which gets me a little bit, because I'm thinking, well, why do they need Sting full-time? But it looks like, as Dave Meltzer sort of said or postulated this week, was that they're trying to they destroy Raw and NXT in the young demographic, not just NXT, but they destroy Raw as well in that young demographic every single week. But the thing which
makes the problem of let's do a 3-hour show, and no one in that young demographic has got the thing to fucking stand there and watch things for that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sitting there watching, especially not when they go to ad break every 9 minutes. I'm like, fuck that. Like, I'll watch it whatever and fast forward through it. I don't watch 3 hours of anything. Like, you're kidding? But
Well, it's just the Godfather. Yeah.
other than The Godfather, yeah. But AEW sort of does really well with the young demographic, but loses the older demographic, the 40 plus. They lose them. So, like Meltzer was saying,
ones that might tell a bit of a story to their wrestling.
yeah. So Meltzer was saying, like, it seems like they're trying to pull Sting in and some other names to try and get that demographic in, because if they get that demographic in, then they will annihilate NXT on a Wednesday. It literally wouldn't be able to. I mean, they are annihilating them now. They broke 1 million viewers for the Sting section this week. It was the second most watched video on YouTube for the week. It's the whole of YouTube, not just AEW. The whole of YouTube. It was the trending number 2, which is insane for AEW. But also quite shocking that it's Sting, 61-year-old Sting, that gets it, and not the young stars or whatever. But they released that T-shirt he was wearing, and it became the fastest selling T-shirt in 24 hours that Pro Wrestling Tees have ever released.
Really?
It's quite impressive. I didn't like. Look, I'm a bit too young to have probably been like a WCW guy, but so to me, Sting. I've known Sting; he's always been a big deal, but like he's not my sort of guy. I've always been a WWE person,
Well,
But
I got to know Sting better when it comes to TNA.
yeah, exactly. So you watched Impact, yeah. So I never really got it, but it's undeniable that even at 61, the man is still a draw. It's pretty crazy. Like the ratings are in, but the minute by minutes, he would kill it. He killed the minute by minute ratings, and his merch is doing better than everyone else's.
Let's be honest, it would be like if Hulk Hogan walked into TNA, Impact, like the AEW.
Yeah. Although I think people would have the complete opposite reaction to Hogan, just because they have rose-tinted glasses about what Hogan and Bischoff did at TNA, which they didn't do, but people like to think that they did or didn't. That they fucked everything up, which people can argue it, but they didn't really fuck everything up. It was already on like a downward thing with Dixie.
They didn't make things better, though, did they?
No, God, no. But God,
they weren't the saving grace that they were supposed to be.
No, not even remotely. But yeah, I think people look at that even worse now than what it actually was at the time. While Sting's really beloved.
Vince Russo, who came along and destroyed WCW single-handedly.
Yeah. It was the man which tanked a company which was earning tens of millions by writing a show, even though the ratings went up under him. People like to look back at history through rose-tinted glasses. But I'm interested. I'll just say these two things in AEW have made me more interested in AEW than I have been for quite some time. And we'll go into the actual show in a minute and talk about it, because I really enjoyed the show. But first things first, Monday Night Raw.
Well, the bits I can remember about it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't.
I actually generally thought it started off great, because I loved the whole thing with Blitz, Orton, and Dean showing a bit of a weak side.
Yeah,
I like the main event.
Yeah, I tell you what, the one thing which shit me up was Jeff Hardy and Elias.
I was going to say the point of it. I thought they already ended it.
Oh, it was stupid. But Jeff Hardy doing that swanton off the top through the table,
landing on the ladder.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, that made my blood turn cold when I saw it.
Most people doing a weird suplex makes your blood cold, but
no, but head trauma. Head trauma is the one, and like
I don't think that was more head trauma than neck trauma, if I'm honest.
Yeah. It looked like he's very lucky. Jeff Hardy is a very lucky human being for how he's not dead by now.
Well, to be honest, the only real main injury he ever had was his own fault. He broke his leg.
Yeah,
doing that jump.
Yeah, somehow
he's still living with that injury as well.
Yeah, somehow he's managed to like escape serious in-ring injury, and he's a very lucky man.
Maybe he's just made that elastic.
He's clearly like a plasticine man. But yeah, no, I enjoyed the main event as well. I thought it was Raw was okay. I thought,
It was a good show.
I thought the Fiend, Randy, and Alexa are doing a very, very good job.
Yes.
It is just there's a lot of nonsense around it, which is the problem.
I think for them, it's them trying to now get everything set up for some of their other stories for that show, which will help.
Yeah,
Sort of thing. It's
yeah,
like with the tag team titles and Hurt Business. See where actual things are going with that.
yeah. Because I mean, they've already announced an awful lot of the TLC card.
Have they?
I've been seeing
I haven't
them.
really
Yeah.
looked.
So I mean, so far for TLC, we've got Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles TLC for the WWE title, The Fiend versus Randy, Nia and Shayna versus Asuka and Lana for the tag team titles.
Really? So once again, Oscar's title's not on the line.
Yeah. Roman versus KO, obviously TLC. Sasha versus Carmella for the SmackDown Women's title. So they've already announced them pretty quick because there's only a few week turnaround between Survivor Series and TLC. That was like bam, they announced them straight away. But so yeah, they're not really building the stories so much as just saying, "Oh, here's the matches," and now we'll try and figure something out.
Well, they're doing it for some matches.
Some of them, yeah.
Something is like, I don't get why Oscar needs to be in the position she is. She should be defending her women's title.
Mm.
Because right now,
Yeah.
I've lost all interest in the Raw Women's title. I'm more happy to see Sasha wrestle, and that's not something I say very often.
Yeah, like
Sasha scares me.
Yeah, like we'll get to SmackDown because I've got a lot of questions about about the women's division on SmackDown as well. But yeah, no, you're right. The thing is, it's like they can only seem to ever have a focus on one of the two things. When they were focusing on the women's titles, they were focusing on them, and the tag titles were being sort of ignored. And now the tag titles, so we can't book the women's champion. It's like a constant repetitive cycle.
So I just don't fully understand it because right now on the Raw title, they had a great lot of meaning to it with Becky Lynch behind it, and then Oscar started off quite well. And the whole thing with Sasha and Bayley went quite well, and now after the whole thing with Sasha and Bayley, she's done nothing with it.
Yeah. So NXT, and I said this to you a little while ago. I think it's a shame because I think NXT done a really good
NXT did a
show,
great go home show.
Yeah. But the problem being is that it was just so overshadowed that I have really heard very few people talk about it. But I thought it was very good. Obviously, a nice open for Pat Patterson at the beginning, and then they moved into Damian Priest.
Yeah,
and I thought there was lots of good matches on the card. But I tell you who stands out, and like CM Punk even commented on this week. Pat McAfee is just so incredible on the mic. Like CM Punk said something along the lines of, if you're a wrestler right now, you need to look at Pat McAfee and be like, how is this man who isn't a wrestler making us all look bad? Like, how is he doing such a better job than just about everyone right now on the mic? Which is so true.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really looking forward to WarGames tonight. Like, I'm really looking forward to that match. I think it's great.
I'm looking forward to theirs. I'm looking forward to the women's.
Yeah, the women's going to be awesome. They've really been building the women's quite really well.
And I think I missed the end to the freaking thing because I didn't realise that the NXT Women's Champions joined the team.
Yes,
I missed that bit.
Yeah. So they done the women's advantage match this week between Shotzi and who was it, Raquel Gonzalez.
Yes,
which was another great match. That was like, what was that, 2 weeks in a row they done the ladder matches, which were both incredibly good.
Well, yeah. Well, last week I thought they were going to kill one another.
Yeah, no shit. I thought Kyle O'Reilly was dead. After
it's also a risky business for Kyle O'Reilly at the moment, where he gets a little bit injury prone these days. To put him in that a few weeks
and have him just fall to the outside of the ring.
But also, I am wondering though if Finn Balor was the one that cost in the match.
Yeah. You said this last week as well. You sort of you questioned
because if you look at the build of the person in the thing, he's got a Finn Balor build. It's not huge or thing.
Yeah.
But so I have my suspicions.
That'd be interesting. They what else on the show? Really, we had the Candice.
They were your main kind of
parts.
Still got your Cameron Grime and Dexter. Is that his name?
Dexter Loomis. Yeah.
Their thing, and I quite like that bit where Grime gets out the leather strap, hooks him on, and then Dexter pops up.
I really like Dexter Loomis. He's so
liked him
creepy.
back from when he was still when he started doing his creepy gimmick thing in TNA, when it was when he was stalking Chrissy.
Oh, of course, that was him, wasn't it? Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I'd seen bits about it.
He's got a tash on his face now.
Yeah, the tash makes the world of difference. No, I didn't watch Impact, but no, I'd heard about the stalking angle with Christy Hemme. Yeah, I think he's great. What's on the card for WarGames tonight?
So basically, the Undisputed Era and Pat McGee's crew in their WarGame match. Team Candice.
Yeah, Leon Ruff versus Gargano versus Priest. That'd be good.
And then what we just talked about, the strap match, Dexter Loomis and Cameron. I forgot about this, and
Thatcher.
Thatcher's fucking ass because he irritates the shit out of me.
Yeah, Thatcher.
That was actually quite a good bit in the end, where with those two, Adam and Newbie, where he jumped him.
Yeah, it should be a really strong card. I mean, they never dropped the ball on WarGames. Thus far, they haven't dropped the ball on WarGames. So I'm really interested.
Yeah, problem is, every WarGames, there's normally someone does something a bit silly and ends up bleeding quite a lot.
Yeah. My money's on Kyle O'Reilly.
I don't know. This time we might get lucky. It might be Pat.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing, right? Pat McAfee's going to try and prove himself in there, and he's going to I don't know, do a 4,000 degree.
For some reason, I don't see this time around, because 9 times out of 10, it's not the Undisputed Era that bleed a lot. It's the team they're against.
Yeah.
So I can either see seeing it being Pete or Pat.
Oh, Pete. Yeah, I can see Pete doing it. Yeah, people like to take bumps and take risky moves for the Undisputed Era, which I don't really understand. But yeah, that should be a really good show tonight. I'm looking forward to that. And AEW Winter is Coming, a reference which is about 2 years out of date. From Game of Thrones.
How did they get that? How did they get Winter is Coming? How did they get that?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
I don't understand how. Literally, the whole way through the show, but how did you get it?
That's funny, isn't it?
Right, to be out to date. It's
somehow, I'm assuming at some point in time, Game of Thrones didn't copyright it for some reason, and they were like,
"Daddy, do to get you these fucking rights for this."
Yeah. And it basically it was to build up that the whole Winter is Coming thing really was to build up
Sting. Some snow.
Yeah, that was really it. They done the whole thing just for that. And I'll say once again, the snow on Sting's entrance is awesome. I actually love it so much. So I'm all for it. But that did make me laugh. Yeah, it is a nice touch.
I like the way it's when he's in the ring, he's still got the snow in his hair.
Yeah. Well, I saw people going, "Oh, look, he's got grey in his hair," and it's like, no. It's
technically he's technically grey.
Yeah, he does.
He does like to dye it.
Yeah,
I do. What area he's got left?
Yeah, I do appreciate that he doesn't do the full black hair dye because it would just look a bit silly at 61. But
no, he just does it brown, huh?
Yeah, he just sort of
does
a little
doing getting when he was in Impact before he left.
Yeah. They started off the show with the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal.
Yeah, I watched that. I don't think I was fully with it. I was confused what the fuck was going on with the whole reasons to this, and then got really confused at the very end when oh crap, Cassidy knocked out
Wardlow, yeah,
and then MJF or Maxie lost.
MJF
still hadn't been eliminated.
No. No, I thought they both won, didn't they? Yeah, MJF and Orange Cassidy both won.
Oh, is that how it goes?
Yeah.
It was change how to go because
it was the last two in the ring face each other next week. That was the thing.
What you do your second one round to having the thing, you now change it to where you've got to have the last two in the ring to then have a match the following week, where before the last person in the ring won the ring.
Yeah. But they did it. They did explain it.
I don't understand why they changed the rules to it from what the original match was.
Well, the original match was to crown the inaugural, so now they're sort of they obviously don't want to just take it off of MJF without him having a match. I assume that's really it. So now it's the other match next week.
Yeah, MJF's also got more things to worry about next week on whether there's going to be a
split in the inner circle.
To be honest, I actually reckon we'll do him all a lot better if the inner circle break up. Because you look at it like this: only one of them's had, since inner circle's gone, only one of them's had a title. None of them have really had a major push, and they all deserve one. Let's be honest, they're tag team in the thing. They deserve to have. They haven't even had a shot at the fucking belts.
Yeah,
how good those two are.
Considering they were in that parking lot brawl match, which everyone raved about as well. You know, everyone raved about it, and then nothing really came of it. They've just sort of been in the background for most of the things. Yeah, I think they're going to do some kind of like split into two factions. Talking about the inner circle, we had Kazarian versus Jericho, which I'll just say this: I love Chris Jericho, but man, that was awful. Like he just looked so bad there, which is like the first time in a long time I've actually thought he looked really bad and really out of shape. And
Kazarian looked great though.
Kazarian looked great, yeah. Kazarian doesn't age. He's like Christopher Daniels. The pair of them just seem not to age. It seemed to be exactly as they were 15, 16 years ago in TNA.
That's not true. Kazarian had long hair back then.
Okay, yeah. He's had a haircut in the last 15 years. That's about it.
And got in better shape, actually.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing. Yeah, he actually looked better.
They both got in better shape.
Yeah, they have. That's what Eric Bischoff actually said this in 83 Weeks when they were talking about turning point Impact or something, and he said it baffles me now that these two motherfuckers look younger now than they did than they did when I knew them. Yeah. We had Britt Baker and legit Layla Hirsch.
I'm really confused about this. You have a female like this on your card, and you're not using her properly. She's one of the key people. This female. I've got to find her again because I keep forgetting her name.
Who Layla?
Legit. Yeah, I know her by legit.
Yeah.
That's how I remember her. She's fucking. If she's good with a mic, then she should be that woman up there already holding that belt and just dominating your fucking division.
I can't disagree. Look, this is
insane.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, I think this is, what we've been saying for 6, 7, 8, 9 months now is the women's division is just fucked. But I'll say this: I'm now a little bit more hopeful in that they seem to be aiming for something.
This is the thing. Yeah, but the problem is for me though is you'll get your Britt Bakers and then you'll get some of the other key ones they want to use. Go up against some of these other guys, and now I won't see Layla for maybe another 2 months.
Yeah,
which, no offense, can out wrestle fucking any other female, and probably could out wrestle half the men on your show.
Yeah, we've said this a million times, haven't we? We've said that's the problem with having. Christ, do we remember when AEW started, or before AEW started, Cody Rhodes saying we're going to have a roster of 30 people, and then it was like before the damn first show, they were just hiring and hiring and hiring, and now people who aren't even signed to them, they're bringing them in and putting them in matches, and it's like, God damn it, we don't even see Shida from week to week. We don't see Nyla Rose.
Talking about Shida, I quite liked her bit with the interview where that thing and she got creeped out.
Yes,
I did quite like that over there. But yeah, but going back to this match, I looked at Britt Baker. She is great on the match. Talk potentially does some great acting work. But I also looked at the two in the ring. She's still got a bit more to learn in ring, so she's not. But if Layla can talk on that mic, you have a complete package. You could dominate your whole fucking roster.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
why is she not there?
Yeah, I agree. Is she signed? I'm assuming she's signed. I honestly don't know.
I can't probably remember what they were mentioning on that one. I'm not too sure if she's signed or not.
See, they have so many people who they just bring in for single matches that I honestly just lose track on who they end up signing and who they don't.
Bring them in and not what thing just use them on your internet show.
Dark, and you know what, that Dark show? See, I don't watch it. I don't watch it, but Christ, when that started, I think it was like 3 or 4 matches. Some weeks they're doing like 13, 14, 15, 16 matches.
The other week I looked at this thing and it popped up and I'm like, you got like a 2-hour show where you've got 12 matches on the card?
Yeah, I only noticed a few weeks ago. I was like, Jesus Christ, how many people are on this damn card? It's like, it was literally like 12 matches or something they announced.
Yeah, I did. I was like, this is nuts.
women's roster. Is Layla on there? No, she's not. So by all accounts, she's not signed yet.
They better sign her.
Yeah, but I mean, like you look through here.
Britt Baker's up because she should not be losing.
But you look through here, you got like Anna Jay, Emi Sakura, who I guess obviously probably can't come over from Japan at the moment. But I think Big Swole's injured, isn't she? You got Shida, I think Statlander's injured. You got Riho, I guess also stuck in Japan. Penelope Ford, Nyla Rose.
I thought Rio technically left. I didn't think Rio was left in the company anymore. I thought she'd gone.
Well, she's still part of the thing. Yuka Sakazaki. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I know. I thought they had.
I think maybe like Kenny know that like a goodbye because she was struggling. She was getting like homesick.
Yeah, but I think I don't think they ever released her because they like her too much. But like you think Nyla Rose, they built her up, put Vicky Guerrero with her, and then she just pops up every now and then. Now it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that is a weird one. Of course, obviously, then we went to Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes versus Ricky Starks and new name Powerhouse Hobbs. They've changed the name. I like the match. The match, though, to be fair, was kind of secondary to the beatdown from Team Taz at the end, leading to Sting coming down, staring down Arn Anderson, Dustin, Cody, and then Darby Allin. I've seen lots of people say, look, with Sting, we probably don't want to see him wrestle, but there's a good chance he probably is because
I don't mind seeing him wrestle. I just rather have him as one of those more special occasion style things.
Yes, yeah, I agree because people were saying there's no way Cody Rhodes isn't getting his Sting match. Cody Rhodes as idolized Sting growing up.
Yeah. They even made that as a point to announce. Yeah. That apart from his dad, it was Sting.
Yeah. So I and Cody as an executive there, yeah, if he can get that match out of Sting, he's getting that damn match out of Sting, and more power to him. And I'm sure that'd be a pretty decent match as well. So I'm sure Cody could carry Sting to it. So not that I'd ever normally say Sting needs carrying, but he is 61.
Yeah, well, it's not even that. It's just not wrestled in the last time he wrestled and was ended his career.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. If he says that he can wrestle after the surgeries, I would be happy for him to be able to wrestle and have a nice send off that isn't, being crippled by Seth Rollins in the middle of the ring, or not crippled by Seth Rollins, but whatever. So yeah, I'm intrigued, but I'm also hesitant as to I don't want to see Sting wrestling on Dynamite. I don't want to see that.
Or are we going to suddenly get Sting, take someone over his wing and get like a Stingy Undertaker new person?
Well, I wouldn't. I keep on looking at Darby Allin and thinking, I wonder if they are going to do Darby Allin and Sting. It wouldn't be the worst idea in the world.
Well, put the belt on Sting,
yeah, the face of TNT. Well, what's really funny is I wish I had the photos loaded up here to say they keep on advertising the shows for December and January, and the person who's front and center of every single one of the posters advertised is Sting. Not their new champion, Kenny Omega, not Jericho. Jericho's under him. You got Darby Allin, little Darby Allin in there.
Not a TNT champion, no.
No, not your TNT champion. Not Jericho, not Omega, not Moxley. You got the small young bucks here, but Sting is the main person, a big person in the middle. And I keep thinking, that's a funny thing for them to do.
So we're going to get sick of Sting very quickly, though.
Oh God damn it! You know, he's going to be like the most hated man on the internet wrestling boards so quickly. About he's taking time away from young people. Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. I thought the match was great.
Yep,
really, really great. Really enjoyed it.
Quite like the way that Jon Moxley got to look quite strong on the fact that Kenny couldn't beat him clean.
Kenny could beat him. Yeah, I like that. And little chicken shit Kenny Omega and Don Callis being sat on commentary. And one of my favorite things, was a line from JR, was Don Callis when he came to the ring and Moxley lumped him, and you hear JR go, got a bit of impact on that one. I love that. It's so cheesy. I love it.
I gotta admit, the one thing that you kept hearing from JR that whole show, it wasn't in every single match in the end. It was Why is he not doing the pinfall right now?
Yeah. It's
That
true.
was
It's true.
so.
It's true. I mean, if you listen to his podcast, that's all he ever talks about. Is he says if you hit a move which should, in theory, end the match, you should at least be trying to get the pinfall. And because it's just logical. But yeah, I thought this was really really well done, and I love the fact that it was like V trigger, V trigger, V trigger, V trigger at the end. They really kept Moxley looking strong throughout the whole thing, and then
literally be the cleaner from New Japan by just using one move.
yeah, exactly. And that's been very well protected. They haven't let anybody since AEW started. Nobody has kicked out of the one-winged angel yet. So they have protected that move.
About
Oh, you're talking about
him kneeing people in the head.
Oh, the V trigger, yeah. But they protect the one-winged angel very, very good. But some of those V triggers to the head looked brutal.
I did love the one where he did the V trigger where Moxley came flying through the ropes.
Yeah, God, some of them looked awesome. But yeah, and then obviously Don Callis holds up Kenny's hand. They scarper. You see an angry Tony Khan in the back, and all the wrestlers angry. And then he says,
Tony Khan didn't look angry.
No, he was smiling.
He looked like he wanted to cheer along with his.
He was literally smiling.
Didn't seem unbiased by it at all.
Yeah, which is funny because the commentators were like, Tony Khan's losing his mind, and like he had the biggest grin on his face.
His mind just as TV, as they got TV.
Yeah, so I was
it
like,
all went out the window with him then.
Yeah, and obviously they had a getaway car ready, and Alex Marvez says to Don Callis, what's happening, and he says, oh, you have to tune in on Tuesday and find out. And JR says a great line, which was we've been jobbed out, which is great. AEW's jobbing to Impact. I'm really interested. I'm really interested to see how it goes.
I'm interested to see how it goes, but I'm hoping AEW don't do what they can do quite well with stories and fuck it up.
Yes,
because they have potential for something really great. But AEW with some of these stories like had the potential of fucking it up.
I think AEW have a tendency of doing. Everyone moans about WWE's lack of long-term storytelling. WWE just hasn't done a long-term story in freaking 8 years now. By this point, they just never do them. And AEW, I think,
true, they have, because no offense, Seth and the Rey Mysterio thing went on for about 6 months this year.
Yeah, I don't mean just booking something every week for 6 months. I mean,
and then everyone moans about Baron Corbin always being put in 4 or 5 month things. So you can't say they haven't been doing it. They pick their
long-term storytelling and long-term booking, I think, are two different things. Booking someone in 50 matches, which mean nothing, are completely different to telling a nice story over 6 months. And I think AEW has a tendency to go the other way and try and book way too long in advance to the point where it seems pointless. So like they do things and then 10 months later they finally pay off on it, and I'm thinking, okay, why has that happened? And I think they have a tendency to do that.
That's the problem with no other stories.
Yeah, or like it will flag up here and I think they rely way too often on the idea that everyone watches BTE. No, and they also rely on people. Yeah, exactly. And they rely, and WWE does this as well. They rely on people following all their moves on social media, which we don't. We don't all follow who's tweeting who, little skit videos they're putting up, and then they don't put them on the show. So you're like, oh, I missed a load of story. And I think AEW falls foul of that an awful lot. So as long as they don't, the worst thing they can possibly do, and I don't know how they would get over this because Impact and AEW on two different television networks, they're going to rely on people having tuned into Impact and probably not going to show the footage on AEW, and this is going to lead to a lot of people going, huh? I could be wrong, and maybe they can cut a great deal, but that's a bit of a weird one because they're on two different networks.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and finally, SmackDown.
It's improved from the last 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, I think they've been back on a slow uphill climb again.
Definitely improved from the last 2 weeks. Jay didn't get to look like a little bitch.
Who was that, say?
Jay didn't get to look like a little bitch this week.
Yeah, Jay, yeah.
So,
I will say one thing. Firstly, again, it opened up with a great Pat Patterson tribute with a wonderful video halfway through.
So,
And they also had a great Pat Patterson invitational match with Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, Big
I
E,
just
Shinsuke.
when he's coming down, coming. Oh well, you love Daniel Bryan.
Shinsuke, not so much.
Very fun with Rey Mysterio. Shinsuke, he didn't like Shinsuke.
Yeah, and then I think Michael Cole goes, but here's a man he did love in Sami Zayn, and Corey Graves went, he's the only one. I did
That's
like
not
that.
true. I love Sami Zayn. I think he's cash.
That was a really great match. But there was a match before that which I didn't like at all, and that was Bayley versus Natalia.
They suddenly squashed Bayley for no reason.
They have been building Bayley for fucking 16 months.
Let's be honest. If I'm on it, they should have just still kept building Bayley because Bayley was going to be the perfect person for Becky to come back and fight.
Yeah, yeah. It blows my mind. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And everyone online that's trying to justify it, everyone's saying, well, they're telling a story that Bayley can't get it done on her own. But why? We've seen her get it done on her own for 16 months. You know, we've seen her, and like, as women's champ, like just, oh, I don't understand that story. And the commentators did say it at one point about, oh, Bayley's not got a buddy anymore to be by her side, so she's struggling, and it's like, she's not what? That pissed me off. It pisses me off.
I don't understand why they're now let's just squash Bayley. It makes no sense.
Bayley, and we both agreed on this,
would have been the perfect person
Yeah.
either for the Ronda return right now or a Becky return, just to
I
carry on
agree.
building it. Yeah, she ain't got to win every match, but
No, I agree. But she shouldn't be tapping out to Natalia. And I love Natalia, but I'm sorry, she shouldn't be tapping out to Natalia.
Natalia hasn't been booked to look strong at the moment. So
Exactly. So yeah, I just don't get it. It's like you and me have both agreed throughout basically the last year that Bayley and Sasha have been two of the bedrocks of the company during the COVID era.
I kept saying Bayley was the best female going right now since Becky left.
Yeah, exactly. They basically carried that women's division.
Work great together.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't like that. But I tell you what, that was the only thing on the show which made me go, huh? Because I love the rest of the show. Yeah, we had I like the fact that they're back to doing this thing where they're weaving the story throughout the show with like Roman, Kevin Owens, Jay. They're back to properly doing that, which I like. And then obviously we had Mysterio family versus Baron Corbin. You know.
Well, no, Baron Corbin had some friends.
Yes, he did have some friends. So
all of a sudden, one of the commentators completely forgot who they were, apart from they were Brand Spanking New tag team at the beginning of the year back in from NXT.
Yes, yeah. So I can't think of their names. What is it? Blake and Cutler? I've got it written down. Yeah, Blake and Cutler. Yeah. Obviously, we've lost someone there, which is Jackson Riker.
Shame, because I loved him.
And that's because Jackson Riker is a fucking idiot. So yeah, he can't get. He like a lot of these guys that have come up from NXT. For some reason, a lot of them just can't keep their fucking mouth shut and go and say stupid shit. So I was assuming that means he's done because.
Well, yeah, I understood they let him go, didn't they?
Did they actually let him go? I really can't remember.
I'm pretty sure they let him go. I think.
Right, good. To be fair, right, but it's. I actually think he's still employed because I think they were teetering on the edge of. No, he's not. Yeah, he's still employed. Yeah, See, I was thinking they were worried because they couldn't fire him for saying something which technically would be free speech, so they were a bit hesitant about it. So they just buried him. But the motherfucker gets paid to sit at home, you know. Whatever. Yeah, I'm glad. But I'm glad those two aren't going to get punished for his stupidity. I'm glad about that.
Let's start with Baron now. So.
Okay, yeah. So some may say that is a punishment.
Don't get me wrong. I think he does a great job as being a heel and the character that he needs to be. I think he's quality in it.
I also think that we should be done with the King thing properly, and maybe it's.
Do that there's another King of the Ring.
That's what I mean. I think maybe is the time for a King of the Ring tournament.
What they want to do now is win King of the Ring. It got mentioned this week.
Yeah.
I can't remember who said
Yeah,
it.
I think they've been talking about it. I've seen a lot of things online about it. It seems like they are going to be bringing back King of the Ring maybe as a network thing like they did last time.
So,
So yeah, I think now's the time they need to sort of shift Baron.
Baron Corbin's going to be in that. He's going to win it again.
Oh, please don't jinx it, mother. God damn it. And then we had Jey Uso and Roman versus Otis, Kevin Owens. I really liked this match.
Yeah.
I really liked the finish. I thought the finish was very, very smart. I liked the idea. You knew it was coming as well, didn't you? Jey would come down and Roman wasn't going to come down after him. I loved that. I thought that was really smart. But yeah, they made Jey look strong again through that match. After, what was it, 2 weeks of burials?
Well, it's 3 shows in a row that buried him.
Yeah, 3 shows. Yeah. So I'm glad that they actually did that. And a nice little after show thing from Roman to Kevin. Thought it was good. And Jey. Yeah. I said overall, this has probably been one of the stronger weeks in wrestling that we've had for a long time.
Yeah, you've had some pretty good big shows, and then what? You're going to have one hell of a show tonight.
Yeah, one hell of a show. I mean, Tribute to the Troops was last night. I haven't seen it, but Tribute to the Troops was last night. So this week has had a lot of wrestling. And next week we've got what we've got. We've got Impact that's going to have something at least on it. And we'll have the fallout of WarGames, and then they're going to be continuing building to TLC because TLC isn't that far away now. It's 14 days, I think, something like that. So I think it's on the 20th. So it's not that far. Yeah.
Well, at least tonight you should have at least 2 attempts and 2 matches for bleeding. Because Candice has to bleed in matches like this.
Yeah. But other than that, that's it for us. Please go on over and follow us on Twitter at SEW_podcast. Like and subscribe to us down below. And we will see you next time for another video. We are out.